everybody, let me just go a little deeper into it real quick. So, like, when two human beings, and a lot of you guys probably don't remember what this is like, but in that state, like the ultimate connection, okay, let's try to imagine for a second here what that looks like. So, let's try to imagine a completely serene setting out in the nature, whatever your habitat's the best, whether it's the beach, the mountains, rivers. You're going to find more amount of life, more amount of love, more amount of growth right now in areas like that. So you're there with your partner, whether it's your man or your woman, and y'all are living lives that you truly feel good about in your heart, doing jobs and working on things that are not hurting anything unnecessarily. This is a theoretical idea. It's nothing that I'm aware of or obviously involved in, but I'm sharing with you guys an opportunity of what could be. So you're with your lover, you guys are doing your thing, you guys are both living lives that you love to live and that are doing things that are helping the world in a good way while making what you need to make in order to live that life and help out in all the ways you need to help out. You guys have that. You have your agreements and how you guys want to react and how you guys want to grow. And hold on, if two people are able to connect in such a way to where they don't need to have some type of agreements, that's totally fine. I'm not at that state. I've had so many things happen with just about everybody in my past that it's just like I have to have this. I have to have good reasoning governing my decision making because I've just witnessed too many people doing things from places that are not good. And furthermore, when I try to share with them my good reasoning, what I'm finding is a lot of people don't even want to hear my good reasoning. So this is also what really frustrates me because it's like I'm here giving you guys this that you can use too. You can use those two words and you can look at things that I do, and if they're not in alignment with good reasoning, please tell me and I will change them because that's what I want to do. I want to grow away from this hell. In order to do it, you need something to help get you out. Unless I haven't found anybody that's able to just do that without any help from anywhere else. And I think part of that's because there is nothing new under the sun. Everything that exists now is in one way, shape, or form from something in the past. Everything's changing all the time, but we still are affected by things done in the past. So, my point being, though, getting back to the idea that I want us to focus on here, because this is the prize, this is the goal, this is the reward. It isn't money, it isn't a rank, it isn't celebrity status, being famous. In my opinion, the real reward is that good feeling. And even better than that is that good feeling with somebody who you can truly share that good feeling with in like a true partnership, equal, like to where you guys are coming at this in the most honest and straightforward and loving way that you can. Meaning, nobody wants to try to subdue somebody else. Nobody wants to try to be the submissive one. There's no ego that's moving this thing. It's from the heart. It's about loving and connecting in the most pure way possible, and then taking that to a level to where if two people feel attracted and ready and right to perform that sexual deed, at that moment when the time is right, if you guys come together with your energies in that perfect place, magic. I mean, like literally, I think it can help unlock things within inside of ourselves that have been lying dormant for a long time. And like as these things start to become more and more prevalent in our lives, which could also mean like the more if the sex you're having is in alignment with that, the more sex you have, as long as you're continuing to grow and progress in that way, the more you're going to be able to build up into that. Now, the sex is just, that's not the main emphasis. The main emphasis is how you live your lives. And that's also where we've got things twisted up in today's world is we put so much emphasis on how sexy, how good the sex is, and how something looks, how sexy something looks. We put so much emphasis on that, and yet things of the heart, things that are actually good, things that aren't harming others, gets very little attention. This is also how these evil forces, in my opinion, are turning humanity from something that was good into something is bad. And one of the biggest ways they do it, if not the biggest way, is by making people think it's good. That's why, like in my opinion, they've used a lot of these stars and these celebrities, most of them without knowing it, to sell that image of sex, to sell that image of being cool, to smoke that cigarette knowing what it's going to do to people. Like, they're very well aware of what stimuli does to human beings. They've been studying us for a while. And this is also why they're giving us the choice. And they've also allowed us to know the type of information that can move us away from them if we choose it. So this is where I get frustrated, is because we're making this choice. We are the ones that are enslaving ourselves. That's what people aren't. That's what I don't feel the main collective and the talking heads of humanity and on YouTube in the world aren't talking about is that we are doing this to ourselves because we're not acting, because we are being neglectful, because we are being hateful, because we're not choosing to really put our heart first. We are condemning ourselves. So, sorry, I wasn't trying to get all preachy, but so think about that, and then just think about the reward of, and then there's the physical, which is the man and the woman coming together and having that experience. And if even more powerfully motivating should be the afterlife. What happens when we pass on? And, this is where I do think there's truth to heaven and hell. If you leave this earth and you're in a very hellish state, like what you've done with your life is put your life into a place where you feel like you're living hell every day, that is hell to me. Like, and then if the issue you have to be really careful with is, like, if you leave earth in that type of a state, I think part of the way that things work themselves out is, like, you may get reincarnated as, like, a maggot or maybe a spider. I mean, nothing against spiders or magnets. Nothing against them. They all have their place. But how enjoyable do you think a life as a maggot or a spider is going to be? And if I was like the universe or had some type of, I could see how they could maneuver things and orchestrate things so that that's part of what happens. Like, that's a consequence to doing some really foul shit here, is you're going to literally be born into something of a foul existence. And then take that on the good side. You do a bunch of good stuff here. You leave in a state of heaven or of feeling really good and great about things. That's where I think you could go to another dimension, to where you're literally living out a life or a period of time to where you're just like an energy being floating around like on a magical cloud, just experiencing shit. Being able to float around wherever you want to do in a place where there's no pain. I mean, I can remember it. So, but in order to get there, it requires a very specific way of doing things. And it's not because they're just being controlling. It's just, this is just how physics works. Just like building a house. Like, there's a way to do it to where you're going to get the best results. There's a way to do it to where you're probably going to have to repair the roof within a half a year or something because it wasn't done the right way. We're not doing things the right way on planet Earth. If you look at the statistics, if you look at where we're going, if things do not change, there will not be enough soil to feed in all these, this is where they're going to try to implement technologies, and they're also going to wipe out a bunch of people. So they're aware of this. They're aware this problem, the way that it is, has to be changed. This is also what gives these New World Order people the right to come in and police us because we've shown that we are not responsible ourselves. So what I am doing is literally trying to be that opportunity for humanity to take responsibility for our actions individually and collectively and change our ways. And what comes from that is not only us doing the right thing, which is the real reason, that is the only reason why it should be done. Let me just say that too. All this sweet tough stuff I'm talking about, sex and everything, that's great, but don't do it just for that. It needs to be done because it's the right thing to do. But, people will work from wherever they got to work, and things will iron out as they need to iron out. But as somebody that's been through this, because it's all about the intent. So if you that right there is an intent to seek pleasure for yourself. So that's going against that purity that I'm talking about, which is going to get you to that sacred spot. All right. Love you all. Peace.